Today is all about planting. I have some plants like my begonias that I'm going to be taking out of a pot and putting into the ground. I have some things like vegetables, tomatoes and peppers that are in small pots that need to go into bigger pots. I'm transplanting things, I'm moving things around, repotting them up, digging things out to share with my neighbors. Oh my goodness, so many fun things going on today. Hi you guys, this is Nicole from My Carolina Garden. My garden is located in growing zone 8B and I am in southeastern North Carolina. So I've recently talked about my love of begonias and how underrated I feel they are as plants. Well, these gorgeous babies with red blooms, red foliage, and red stems, I want more of them. So in order to get more of them, I could either trim the stems and root them in water, root the stems in water, or I can start dividing up my pot here and that allow more room for more begonias to grow. So my first idea was to put some red begonias in my poolside garden where I had planted some dahlias and I was looking for a beautiful row of color in front of the dahlias. My only concern is this: I love color, and if you watch any of my other videos, you know my gardens are full of colors. It doesn't usually bother me if colors don't exactly go together because I don't have a particular color scheme ever in a flower bed. I just like things that I feel go together. Well, here's the issue. The dahlias have like some hot pink and magenta that are going to come out in them, whereas the begonias are red. I'm not sure if I love the pink and red idea together, so I'm going to think about that if these are going in my poolside garden or as a border plant in another flower bed. That's one thing. I am also going throughout my yard and digging up some perennials that I have so many of that I can give away to my neighbors. We're talking about things like the blanket flower and the canna lily right now. The blanket flower, this literally just came out of my ground, so the blanket flower looks very wimpy when you first dig it up. But don't worry, keep it watered until it's established and it will perk back up. So all of these things are going to another neighbor who has expressed interest in them, and the canna lilies, I mean, they just look great all the time, so no complaints there. I just went to a plant sharing event recently. And I shared things like this there as well, because again, I have a lot of them to share. This is a little side note and having nothing to do with planting or potting, but I just needed to show you this peony bloom. Peony bloom. I do not have great success growing peonies here. I say that all the time. This is now my second bloom in my yard. First one was white in the front yard, now this pink or magenta in the backyard. I just needed to show it off before it was gone. And then I also have some of my veggies. So I had grown some sweet peppers, some serrano chili peppers, and these are some tomato plants that I got from the garden share recently. So I have to pot these up because holy cow, this is not enough soil to keep these guys as moist as they want to be. Both of these pepper plants I grew from seed last year. I just put the pots into the greenhouse this year or over the winter. I wasn't even sure what was going to happen. Well, I ended up with chili peppers for the whole winter. The sweet peppers kind of took a little bit of a break, but now they're starting to come out. I have peppers here and I have flowers here, so I know more peppers are on their way. These guys are in way too small of pots to keep producing at a massive level. So I have raised bed garden soil in these bigger pots that I'm going to be transplanting my vegetables into as well. I think the biggest challenge that I created for myself last year with my vegetables was that I didn't set them up to be part of my drip irrigation. And last year was the first year I had drip irrigation, so I was feeling so good about the fact that I had it now. Oh, I kind of felt spoiled like a queen. It was so awesome. I waited 25 years of my gardening life to have drip irrigation, and I thought watering my vegetables was going to be absolutely no problem because I didn't have a heck of a lot else to water. But you know what? That is not the case. I don't love watering, and of course our growing season is extremely hot, humid, long. So It was not my favorite thing to have to still come out and water something anyway. So what I'm going to do this year is work smarter and not harder, and I am going to attach my vegetables to my drip irrigation. This way I don't have to worry about it. So I got my peppers in these 2 pots, and I will label everything in just a moment. I'm gonna have the tomatoes from the garden share, so I have 4 of these plants. These are called big beef tomatoes. These are all gonna go in the same exact shape and size pot. Hopefully this pot is tall enough for tomatoes. If it's not, well, I'm learning another lesson and I may need to fix that moving forward. And then finally, these are 3 other tomato plants that I had actually purchased myself, and they were on sale at the garden center. So we have some super sweet cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, and this is a German Johnson tomato. Have no idea what that is, but that was one that my husband picked out. So let's talk again about the begonias. The red begonias potentially with some pink color, and if that would look okay. Well, it's funny how sometimes an answer comes to you in a way that you weren't necessarily expecting. I walked by this red hibiscus and these pinkish purplish impatiens. Now, I think maybe the pink in the dahlia that would be next to the red begonia would maybe be similar to this. I don't know because they're not blooming, but I think these are actually quite stunning together. I feel like the 2 colors are saturated and beautiful. So I've decided I'm just gonna go with the red begonias in the poolside garden. So we are gonna plant them up in that border right now. So this is the garden space I'm talking about where I want the begonias to go, and the secret garden and blue boardwalk are right on the other side of it. So I had planted up this little row of dahlias in a video previously. They're right here. Then I have canna lilies that are behind. They're gonna be in orange, they're gonna be in yellow. So I figured we're really just all about the warm toned flowers here. So again, these begonias should do the job. I have had these in a pot. They overwintered for me last year, and so they're pretty mature in size, I would say. So we'll have to see if I need to do any pinching back once I start to take this pot apart, because I may want to pinch so we bush up and we're kind of like lower growing and more full. So we'll just see, but what I'm gonna have to do is literally pull the whole pot apart in order to separate the flowers. In an effort to try not to make too big of a mess, I'm gonna work on a piece of cardboard over here, and I'm just gonna try taking the plant out of the pot so I can see exactly what is happening in here. I definitely have some bunches that I can separate that look like natural breaks. So I'm going to attempt that. I think I'll try actually to slice the root ball with my hory knife. It's not compact, like it's not hard or anything, but this way I think it'll just help me to separate a little bit neater so I don't break off a bunch of these stems. I have 4 very nice clumps here. They're all maybe a little bit different in height. This one's definitely the biggest. Then this baby's the smallest clump. And these 2 look about the same. So how do I do it? I think I'll start with the smallest clump over here. See how much space I have to kind of a little bit be between the dahlia and the golden sword yucca. Now I don't want to pack it in 100% completely yet because I'm not sure if this is how I should do it. I'm thinking this next one would go here, again kind of in between the two dahlias, and then the next one here-ish. See if we can make them a little bit equidistant, but the dahlias are kind of bushing out all over. So I don't want to exactly make them go in size order from smallest to tallest because I think that's a little strange. So I'm going to pick my second medium one here. So here's how those plantings ended up. And you know what is interesting is if we look from right where we are and then come to one of my blanket flowers that was a volunteer that just happened to grow right in here, you see there's red in there as well. And then I will try to pan very slowly so it is not dizzy making here. But looking right on the other side of the pool, where these lounge chairs are. Remember, I also have these two pots that I had made up back in March that also have the red begonias in them. So now they're here, and if we just peek up over the chairs to the other side, they're over there. So I'm actually glad I decided to go ahead and put them in. I have been all over my yard today. I was just up in the front because my neighbor who I had gave a few pots of plants to, she decided that she had this juniper that she didn't want in her yard anymore. It wasn't working for her anymore. So she dug it up and brought it to me. So I just went and planted that in the front yard because the juniper should be awesome to help me with my erosion problem going down to my ditch. So I just put that in place. And now what I would like to do is add in the plants for my succulent garden area of my poolside gardens. So I had shown you this the other day, but I have an ice plant here and I have some autumn joy sedum here. This was the succulent in this pot that was just inside the greenhouse, and I looked at it today and I thought, you need to come outside with me. So I have that guy here too. So we're gonna get them in the ground over here as well. Ice plant is so lovely and I'm excited about the colors because look at this one I have over here. Just totally hanging out on my concrete bench. So I have the geraniums there and then the blanket flowers there. So the colors over here are just like fabulous right now. So I'm excited to get a little more color happening with the new ice plant. Plus I got an early Mother's Day gift. I have two of these pots of multicolored hibiscus. So unfortunately the white one was here, so that would have been the third color. I think it's light pink, coral, and white. But here we go back over into this spot again, and we're gonna get those couple of succulents planted up. Today was yet another day that came with a major sense of accomplishment because so many things got into the ground that I've been wanting to put into the ground. Things are still getting cleaned up and fixed up a little more, and they're also finding their place in the garden for this growing season. So thanks for coming along on the journey. Hopefully you liked seeing some of these colorful flowers, and hopefully you're enjoying some awesome gardening in your yard as well. Until next time, you guys, happy planting.